Alrighty, my friends, I just wanted to share something with you. And today I'm just going to try something different. If you don't mind, I'm just going to put my leg on the chair. I don't think anyone cares. So I went to a coffee shop today. I'm not going to tell you which one, but anyway. So I was just thinking about something. I was thinking about, and I've been wanting to create a video blog about this, about how teachers are the best. I mean, and how everybody is a teacher. And what I mean by that is teachers, everyone knows that a teacher is a student and a student is a teacher. And everybody has a story or they have some sort of life message that they're, something they're learning in the world and they're bringing to others. And so it's so interesting to see how you actually have a lot to contribute to the world. And whether or not you realize that you are a teacher. Okay? Whether or not you have the formal training, you really are a teacher. Everybody has something to share. And what's fascinating, and what I love about the teachers I've had, and what I love about the students that I have, is that I'm learning, and the administration, faculty members, you're constantly in an environment of learning. I think that's what's so exciting about living in a college town. When I've had that happen, and I'm not too far from a college section of the city here. Um, what other field, I mean, there are fields obviously that are out there that you can constantly learn and grow, but what other field allows you to constantly expand each day and allows you to transform the lives of yourself and others? I have students tell me that they have transformed their lives in one class with a particular professor, or they could say it in my class. They're probably just saying that, you know what I mean? Because right before the final, they'll tell me, and I'm just kind of teasing there a little bit, but no, they do mean it, you know. Oh, they'll say, "Oh, we really loved your class. We're about to have the final," or they'll kind of email you right before and maybe make a phone call real quickly before and let you know that before you grade their final. But it doesn't do anything. But no, obviously, as teachers appreciate that. They appreciate that kind of consideration. But what I don't know, I can't speak for all teachers, but I can at the college level, university level, undergraduate level. What I would say is that it is so deeply rewarding, in particular with this demographic. What I love about the undergraduate level is that the learning is new. Sometimes people have been away from school for so many years, and it's if you're ever thinking about teaching, and if you ever have any questions and you want to post them down below about getting into teaching. Obviously, this is not going to replace your own kind of research on the matter, but it is such a rewarding career in terms of you're constantly learning and growing. And I'll put in hours each day to study personal development, career development, psychology, communications, social psychology, positive psychology. I mean, everything from finance to business to everything. I mean, you can constantly grow and learn. You can have a personal development library, professional development library. And if you're going to be doing that anyway, and then growing, and why not share what you've learned? And it doesn't have to be in a particular subject. It can be any subject area, is what I mean to say. So isn't that right, baby? Isn't that right, baby Sadie? Look, she is my, and actually she's my master teacher. I didn't tell you that. Sadie, aren't you my master teacher? Aren't you, ow, aren't you my master teacher? Isn't that right, baby? So Sadie, what's nice about Sadie is she is a teacher, and I'm learning so much with her, and she's one of my gorgeous pups. And it is interesting to think about that, huh? How if you have kids, your kids are teachers. You learn probably more from your kids than they do from you. And I'm not. I'm just kind of. I'm partly serious, partly not. Um, but you learn from everything, everyone, just all your experiences in life, and you can synthesize all of that. All the books you read, all the CDs, your travels. Traveling is a great way. I wish it would be great if everyone could just have an allowance. The government would give money to everybody and just say, hey, between high school and college, and say travel around for 6 months to a year. Wouldn't that be great? But the international travels, the travels that you do domestically, just the all of the experiences, your time in volunteer work, community work, professional jobs. I have a lot of people that come into a lot of students that come into different fields from, other like they've had different backgrounds, life backgrounds. They were in different industries. And so essentially they're bringing something new to the table, refreshing. And it's kind of interesting because you don't always think that you're going to get into a particular field right at that time, and then you do. It works out. I know, at least for me, with teaching, it started with the English teaching. So I had a high school teacher who was amazing. All of my high school teachers, I think, were, but there was one that took notice of my writing, and he mentioned to me, he said, "Hey, have you thought about teaching English?" I said, "What?" I didn't know what he was talking about, because at that time it was planned for me, I thought, and just in my mental conditioning, to be a doctor. And then later on, I had another teacher, comparative literature teacher, my first comparative literature teacher in college at the university. He basically said, "Have you thought about becoming an English teacher?" And then he's the one that gave me the idea for teaching English abroad. And I've helped some people going abroad, to Brazil and other places. Early on in my career, I had a lot of people asking me questions about that. And there's a really good website that I recommend as far as people wanting to teach, grow, and expand. Again, this is not replacing um, your own research, but Dave Sperling's ESL Cafe. I was actually the first one that posted on Brazil in that category, and I was talking about what it was like, the experience, and what to keep in mind. But what was interesting is with teaching and traveling, you can kind of grow. You can kind of grow and expand and kind of combine that with maybe other industries that you've been in. But even if you don't have any formal qualifications in teaching, depending on the level you're going into, if you're going into a college level, a master's, or PhD, a lot of them are now looking at the PhD level, like a college or university, so you might want to look at that. High school, K through 12, they're definitely looking at the certification. A lot of the schools are going virtual. So you want to be ready for these online shifts, the live shifts, and then in another video I'm going to share my predictions where in 10 years where education is going to be. It's really cool. But suffice it to say that you can impact someone's life as a teacher, as a career. You could do it live or online. You could do it in adult education courses. You can do it in so many ways. You might even be doing it within your families, within friends, within talks that you're giving. You might be doing it in an unpaid capacity, tutoring capacity. I know I started before I was teaching formally, I was tutoring. And then I taught for free even as part of the certification training. So it's kind of like you have to pay your dues, but once you get off the ground, or whether you're doing student teaching or however you do it, you can basically then get into the teaching profession and keep going. The one thing I would say is you want to have faculty development and professional development. This is something that I've learned over the years in different schools I've been involved with. You want to have your teaching skills down. You want to constantly work at that. Build your professional development library as well in your field, but your teaching library as well, your skill sets, and know your Microsoft applications, know your various other applications that are important, the learning management systems, Blackboard, Angel, whatever you use. Really get on that stuff. Don't be afraid of computers, right? And work on your typing speed. Get creative with multimedia and whatever the college or university or school, whatever the licensing agreements allow for. And then also the professional development is huge. The professional development, going to seminars, attending webinars, constantly growing. My thing is, and I'll tell teachers, I've mentored teachers in the past, especially, and just even with the friends today that I hung out with, the teacher friends, I was telling one of them, I said, you can't stay the same. This year, you're one way. Next year, you can't be that. That's it. Every year, a certificate or some constant training. And a lot of colleges and universities will keep a file on you that you need to constantly update your skills, and that's for the benefit of the students. Many times, some aren't doing that yet, but others do, and it's something to keep in mind that we got to constantly train. And I remind people that no matter whether or not you're a teacher, you have to constantly grow and expand. One thing that obviously you can do your own mental calculus on this, but it's suggested often, and in presentations I've given, workshops I've given, and I know other people have talked about this, 10%. Whatever you earn, take 10%, throw it back into your clothing, for your professional attire, CDs, books. Doesn't mean, by the way, that it's tax deductible. If you don't have the logo, for example, and it's not a specific uniform that you're using, you're not going to necessarily be able to write it off your taxes, but pretend you couldn't. Talk to your tax accountant about this, or a financial expert. but basically constantly learn and grow and find ways to reinvest in yourself, in your craft, and get better, whether you're teaching or not. And I do want you to just consider the benefit of teaching and transforming lives. That's the take-home message. I mean, it's so amazing to teach. It's a gift that you get to be involved in education, be involved, especially if you're in a college town or college city, and you get to be around this idea of higher learning. It also depends on the subject, the age group. You want to know these things, right? How do you want to teach the platform? Are you going to have a mix of like a flex kind of situation where you're live and online? Are you going to have a webinar format in your teaching? How are you good at? Are you good at thematic based, situational based lesson planning? What kind of planning does the school want you to have? In terms of preparation. Some schools have solid lesson plans that are already prepared for you. Others ask you to develop your own curriculum. How are you good at Are you good at taking attendance? Are you responsible with your time management and project management? Are you willing to pay the price? Are you willing to put your career? I don't know if I'll say first, because some of you have different obligations in your family and other situations, but are you willing to do whatever it takes to become a teacher? Are you willing to really put your life on the line in terms of your educational and personal and professional transformation? Because as you learn and teach, you're learning from the students. And what will happen is your lives, there are plenty of tear-jerking type of stories that you could hear. I don't want to, we don't have a lot of time to go over those, but they're out there, right? Those heartfelt stories. But the teachers learn so much from the students. It's amazing. That's why you hear it said that you never teach the same class twice. It's totally true. I've been teaching now for 15 years, if I combined all my teaching. And it's amazing how much I've grown, and you mature. You actually mature. I mean, when you're spending almost, I don't want to say half of my life yet, but almost half of your life as in teaching, you're kind of thinking, wow, a little under half my life. What's amazing is you grow, you mature, you make so many mistakes starting out, but then you don't make those same mistakes. You kind of balance your life, and then the teaching takes a life of its own. It becomes more of a mission. Amy Wozniacki has that job, career calling model. Job, career, calling. A job, you're paying the bills, and then that is helpful while you're working towards developing a career. Maybe you're going to school or something like that. And career, you have benefits, you're established, you can develop a lifestyle around what it is you love. And then a calling is a burning desire. And not that a career isn't, but the calling, you feel like in whatever way you can express it, whether through YouTube clips, writing, doing newspaper interviews. I've done some newspaper interviews. Whether just different situations that whatever be outside of your teaching, however you can now make an impact. I started to realize that. I said, through YouTube, you can make an impact sharing your gifts or your craft and impact, allow people to see what you're talking about, or maybe it's like the Wikipedia, if you will, of the internet. I mean, I don't want to draw any comparisons. Both are awesome. But if you just look at it, like you can search anything you want on any subject, and you can educate yourself in a way. And obviously you have to take everything with a grain of salt. But that's why it's so exciting to teach, that you're constantly growing, you're learning, you're getting better, and you're sharing, you're getting to that calling level as a teacher. And it's just amazing. Then the faculty development, training, professional development, you're constantly growing, gaining new certifications. I earned my Dale Carnegie certification earlier. It was actually on my bucket list. 10 things that I have on my bucket list, that was one of them. Constantly adding to the bucket list. But what a great experience, that Dale Carnegie training. As far as public speaking, working on building your confidence, being reminded of certain lessons that you may know, seeing them from a different angle, not worrying, and just being yourself as a teacher or a personal human being. But wow, just constant certifications, constant growth, constant learning. And you can have it in any field, but just understand that really everybody is a teacher. Whether you realize it or not, everybody's a teacher. You learn from other people, and they learn from you. It's a give and take process. The teacher is the student is the teacher. It's just amazing, and no two classes are the same. And so please do think about teaching. There's going to be openings down the road. We need to teach the next generation, and we've got to constantly grow, improve ourselves, who we are as people, and we want to constantly just grow and expand, and really, I know it sounds corny, but to really make the world a better place. So that's my 2 cents there as far as teaching, and it'd be great just to see if there are future teachers around the world here, especially at the college level. Hint, hint. Would love for you to consider that. Undergraduate, graduate, that'd be great. But we need you. Teachers, the future teachers that are out there, please consider it. It's so exciting, rewarding, and I think no matter what stage you are in life, you have so much to offer. I can share that too for having hired all different sorts of teachers in the past. One of the colleges where I taught, and one of the duties was to help recruiting with recruiting and across all ages, backgrounds, experiences. It's so amazing to see that you can bring the world in the classroom. You can capitalize on the talents and experiences of people that are out there. It's absolutely incredible. So anyway, I know I said a lot, but if you have any questions and you wanted to just go ahead and post them, again, this is not replacing any kind of advice outside of the YouTube clip. I mean, this is just an entertainment kind of thing, and just food for thought. You got to do your own research, but if you wanted to post something below or ask a question, maybe I can guide you in the right direction. All right, thank you so much, and have a great day.